Many photographers find flash a bit intimidating. When you start to introduce an additional light source to your photography, it does complicate things, especially when you can't see the effect of the light on your subject before you take a photo. And this is how it is with flash. Flash is mainly used when there's not enough light, at night and indoors or in other dark places like caves. Flash can also be used to fill in shadows created by other lights. Have you ever seen a photographer taking portraits outdoors on a sunny day and using flash? They're using the light from the flash to fill in shadows the hard light from the sun is causing. The key to successful flash use is in controlling the output of the light, both the amount of the light the flash emits when fired and the quality of the light. It's common to see photos where the photographer has not controlled the flash. The subject is overexposed and there are hard shadows cast by it on the background. Learning to control the output of your flash is as essential as controlling your exposure settings. Balancing these together will produce the best results. As always, knowing what you want your photo to look like is the first step to achieving well-lit photos when using flash. Set your aperture to f5.6 to start with. Use a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second and an ISO of 400. Take a series of photos of different subjects in various lighting conditions. Take some of small, medium and large subjects. Take some in the daytime and some at night. Use different flash settings. Get close to your subject for some photos and further back for others. Also adjust your aperture settings and experiment with them. Leave your shutter speed and ISO the same for this challenge. I'll teach you more about using flash and adjusting these other exposure settings in later lessons. Take some using the TTL or similar setting. This is through the lens. Basically, with this setting, your flash and camera communicate with each other. Your camera's exposure meter reads the light and sends this information to the flash. Between the flash and the camera, they calculate how much light is needed for your subject. Then try some using other auto modes on your flash and some with your flash set to manual. Experiment as much as you like with various manual flash settings. Photos taken with a flash mounted on the camera have a certain look to them. When the light is coming from the same point of view as the camera takes a photo, it can be restrictive. Being able to remove the flash from your camera and position it to one side, above or behind your subject, opens up whole new avenues of creative potential. Some camera systems require no extra hardware to wirelessly communicate with a flash. You must have a dedicated flash though. Wireless remote triggers are a popular option for cameras that don't have this functionality built in. Another alternative is to connect your camera and flash with a cable. This is more restrictive because you are limited by the length of your cable as to where you can place your flash. I love the Nikon wireless flash system. It allows you to connect up to 8 flashes and control the settings right from your camera. Most frequently though, I'm working with a single flash and holding it in my left hand. At other times, I'll mount the flash on a stand or have someone else hold it for me. Having the flexibility to remove your flash from the camera, you can manage the direction and quality of the light much more effectively. Positioning your flash carefully, you can more effectively eliminate shadows caused by the sun or another bright light source. Shadows from the flash can be managed or avoided when you manage your flash placement. Using light modifiers like snoots or softboxes becomes more practical when your flash is not mounted on your camera. You can attach a larger softbox or an umbrella to soften the light from your flash when it's on a light stand or you have someone else hold it for you. Set your aperture to f5.6 to start with and use a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second and your ISO at 400. Some cameras have a built-in wireless remote flash control system. You'll need to check your camera and flash manuals to find out if yours has this. If it doesn't, you'll need either a wireless remote system or a flash sync cable to enable the use of your flash off camera. Have a single subject that you can position at least 1 meter, 1 yard away from the background. Don't use anything very small or very large because that would complicate things a bit. Start by taking a photo with your flash mounted on the camera and set to TTL or auto. Then, remove the flash from your camera and place it about an arm's length to either your left or your right. You could hold it in your left hand or place it on something. If you have a stand for it, this will be best. Take a series of photos with the flash in different positions. For some, bring the flash close to your subject so that it's just out of view. Then in others, move it back and take photos with it placed at various distances away from your subject. Make sure that the sensors on the flash are pointing in the right directions. If there's a wireless sensor, make sure that it points towards your camera. This sensor is used to detect when you press the shutter release so that the flash will fire at the right moment. If there is a sensor on the front of your flash, make sure it's pointing towards your subject. This sensor is used to help determine the amount of light the flash must emit when in TTL or auto modes. Be aware of how much light your flash is outputting each time you take a photo. Don't look directly at the flash, but look at the subject. If you're using your camera's viewfinder, leave your other eye open so you can have some idea of how much light the flash is putting out each time. The further away from your subject you place your flash, the more light it will emit.